These trends will push investment profitability. Hanapin po natin kung ano mga kumpanya ang namamayagpag at nangunguna sa mga trends na ito. It will be the game changers that will control the future. Again, it is incumbent upon us to look for where the opportunities are. Hello mga ka-RFF, this is again Rex Mendoza from Ramper Financials. I hope you are all healthy and well. The topic that I'd like to be able to discuss in this video is more an offshoot about the lack of excitement that's happening in our financial markets. Para pong sobrang tamlay at walang ka-energy. Palagay ko nga po, you will agree with me on that standpoint. But again, it will be in these phases or span of time where we have to check out and look deeper for opportunities. Kaya po, ang gusto ko sanang i-discuss ay ang mga trends, really strong investment trends that usually po pinipick up ng mga institusyon, malalaking kumpanya at malalaking funds dito sa ating bansa. And normally, when the retail investors get wind of them, they are almost about to fade or medyo nag-peak na po. So, we'd like, as Ramper Financials to be at the forefront of this. So, we'd like to be able to discuss ano nga ba ang mga trends, ano nga ba ang mga areas of interest and business that we'll have to look and watch out for para naman pag tayo nag-i-invest, inuunahan natin ng mga anggulo at perspectives na ganito para medyo nauna-una tayo ng konti. So ano ba itong tinatawag nating mga investment trends? These are developments in pockets of business, industries in the market that can actually dictate future growth, future profitability, and sustainability. So hindi ko po pahabain ito. I move on and discuss the first one. And the first one is really infrastructure development. Yes, construction in the area of infrastructure development. Alam nyo naman, we are really an archipelago made up of what? Over 7,000 islands. Kaya ang ating pong problema sa mobility, sa logistics, talaga pong napakalaki. In fact, at the very level that we are today, our tourism industry is already registering the fourth largest growth rate in the world. Alam nyo naman po, di ba, isa sa mga problema natin is going around our islands. I think many of you will agree with me. Ang mga pinakamagagandang lugar, nandito sa atin Kaso lang napakahirap puntahan. In terms of natural resources, pampato natin ang ating bansa. Pero pagdating sa mga man-made developments and investments, medyo naiiwan tayo. And infrastructure is key to all of that. Roads, bridges, airports. Pero alam nyo naman, from the last administration to today's administration, lahat po nakatutok dito. So, build became build better and more. Ayan, BBM po yan, di ba? Pero kidding aside, I think it's a realization that we need to act upon as a country in the most serious of sense. And that's the reason why billions of dollars, and say not peso, billions of dollars are now getting poured into infrastructure development. So makikita nyo po, sa Metro Manila lang, ilan ang tulay na tinatayo, ilan ang inaayos na thoroughfares. We're putting up transportation systems. We're building new airports, whether that's public or private. Billion pong investments. That will pay off over the long run. Ano pong ibig sabihin namin dito sa Ramper? Ba't namin pinag-uusapan itong mga to? Dapat nasisilip nyo yung mga kumpanyang involved sa construction at sa infrastructure. Yung pong mga kikita in the future, maaaring wala pang nakatingin sa kanila ngayon, pero unti-unti po in the next 5 years, sigurado yung magnifying glass na yan, tutuhog yan at tututok dito sa mga kumpanya that are in construction and infrastructure development. Kasi po, hindi lang yan ang kailangan natin, yan ang magdadala sa atin towards stronger economic growth and progress. Yan po, napaka-importante. Second, e-commerce. I think siguro sasabihin ng marami, Rex, hindi na trend yan. Dati pa yan. Hinighlight nga yan ng pandemic. Pero alam niyo po, it has gotten to the next level. It has gotten to the next level. Hindi na po ito yung sinasabi nating e-commerce lang, deliveries, online purchases. Hindi na po ngayon. When you now think about what will happen in the e-commerce and online space, we're now talking about huge developments. And we're talking about fintech. We're going to talk about many other things that translates into yung common business before into e-commerce platforms. So, sino po kayang mga kumpanya ang magli-lead ng mga yan? And most definitely, these are companies that are pouring billions of pesos and dollars into their own foray and platforms of e-commerce, fintech, agri-tech, everything tech. Di ba? Diyan yung makikita. So, again, I think, alam nyo naman po, naging director ako ng Globe Telecom. Wala na po ako doon ngayon kasi lumampas na po ako doon sa tinatawag na limit na 9 years. Parang napakabilis po, no? 9 years na ako nag-serve. Although I am still a director of GXI or GCash. Pero kung makikita nyo lang, as a company, as an example, Globe is now shifting clearly from a telco to a techco. Ayan, dyan yung makikita, it's bringing up 0917 Ventures and it's going into businesses like Gogoro, yung mga electric scooter po. Diba? Kasi ang alam natin, pag sinabi mong tech at Globe, GCash agad eh. Well, of course, GCash is already a double unicorn. At marami nga akong research lately na nakita, dapat daw quadruple unicorn na. Yun kaya naka-reflect na sa presyo ng Globe? Ayan po ang kailangan nating silipin as an investor. Ape, lumabas lang po yung mga news reports na baka mag-IPO at IPO ready na. Ang GCash by the end of the year, tingnan nyo kung gaano kaagad ang tinaas ng Globe stock price. Pero di ba ang tagal na ng GCash na yan? Last year pa, early this year pa. Pero dahil nabalitang mag-IPO, ibig sabihin, maa-unlock ang value. Tayo ba as investors, hihintayin mong ma-unlock yung value? O habang ngayon pa lang na ginagawa pa lang at nagiging dominant pa lang, dapat tinatayaan mo na, di ba? So I'm not even talking about Globe alone. There are other companies that are getting into this e-commerce and tech space in a big, big way. So yan po, silipin natin dahil yan ay strong trend. Dapat nakikita mo yung mga kumpanyang namamayagpag at nangunguna dyan. We think banking, for example. Sino ba ang lamang sa digital banking? Sino ba ang pinaka-open sa digital banking? Siguro naman po, tanyag na tanyag. Union Bank o UBP. Yan ba? Nakapasok na sa valuation nila ang kanilang edge in terms of digital banking o wala pa? So yan po, kailangang aralin natin, i-research natin at tingnan natin. Meron kayang value that's hidden that we can take advantage of? Are there opportunities that we're beginning to miss? Third, ang pangatlo ko po ay agriculture and food processing. Again, as we are an archipelago and we still are an agricultural country, anong kailangan nating ilagay na teknolohiya in terms of processing food and food items to get them into an industrial state where we can now distribute all over the country, lengthen the shelf space of our food items to serve our countrymen in the farther flung islands of the country? At paano po din natin mai-export ang ating mga agricultural products? So we are looking at areas not just in food processing itself, but even in packaging, even in all of the technology that can be put in so that we can focus on this big muscle of ours that has been lackluster in the last few decades. Kasi alam naman po natin lahat, we're still an agriculture-driven country. Unfortunately, humina po nga ang agrikultura natin. Tumataas ng todo ang ating services. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na hindi importante yan. Kulang lang tayo ng teknolohiya in pushing for it. So, if we now get all of this technology and arm and muscle back on agriculture and food processing, sigurado pong may merkado eh. So look at the companies that are getting into this strongly because the trend of the future is still going to be focused on food. Lalo po ngayon na nagkakaproblema tayo sa logistics, supply chain, and food handling. So yung technology po na pwedeng mai-push dito to create more value is going to be very, very important in the future. Number 4 is renewable energy. Ito po, subset ng tinatawag nating ESG investing. Pero sa ating bansa, talagang nakafocus sa renewable energy dahil kulang po ang ating power generation. So, dahil nag-ahabol tayo sa power generation at gusto naman nating maging malinis ang ating energy sources, lahat po nakatingin ngayon towards the production of energy in a renewable sense. So makikita nyo, solar, wind, hydro, nandyan po lahat yan. And I can tell you, the investments that are pouring into renewable energy, nalalampasan na po ngayon. For the first time in history, nalalampasan na yung fuel-based investments in terms of energy. Kaya po talagang mahalaga na tutukan natin alin ba ang mga kumpanya that are really strong into renewable energy. And while we're even saying that, abay, di ba? Usong-usong ngayon ng REIT eh. Sino ba ngayon ang mga real estate investment trusts na nangunguna sa pagsasama ng renewable energy sa kanilang real estate platform? Ang mga REITs ba dapat nasa commercial and industrial properties lang? Dapat nasa residential at hotels lang? Or hindi ba napakaganda rin ng having REITs also involved in renewable energy? Alam naman natin, meron ng isang malaking pangalan dyan, pero I am so sure as the other REITs are going to be expanding their base, they will also include renewable energy in their own platforms. Kaya abangan po natin yan. So, hindi lang yung mga kumpanya that are involved in renewable energy, even the REITs, kailangan natin silipin. Kasi this is, again, part of a very strong trend in the future. So we will have to push all our eyes and get our research done so that we can invest in the right horses moving forward. Number 5, BPOs. This area of development is still one of the strongest pillars in our economy. A lot of people are saying, alam nyo, bababa na yan, lilipat na lahat sa AI. I will beg to disagree. While I agree with many that many of the work would shift into AI, it will create new types of work where you still need the ingenuity of people to drive certain things. Now, kailangan po nating isipin na dapat maitaas natin ang antas ng ating capability in business process outsourcing. So kung lagi tayong nakasalalay lang sa voice, lagi tayong nakasalalay lang sa encoding, baka nga in the future, tagilid tayo sa AI. But if we are keeping pace with also improving the level of our service and getting our technical side also improved and developed, lagi po tayong kailangan. But even at the lower end, alam niyo po ba, this whole problem of a global slowdown favors us. Kasi po ngayon, for example, sa Amerika, may mga taong involved sa real estate. May mga doktor that are involved in the medical profession. Sabi, makikita nyo, they look to the Philippines to get virtual assistants. Bakit po? Kasi bumababa ang kita nila eh. Pag bumababa ang kita nila, dapat pababain din nila ang cost nila. And how can they do that? They can do that by outsourcing certain jobs in places where the talent is much cheaper. At since yung atin namang mga tao hindi aalis sa Pilipinas, gumagasta ng peso, pwedeng kumita ng dollars, malaking bagay po ito. This is a trend that will continue. This whole service industry. And suffice it to say, mabibilib kayo sa trivyang ito. Year 2000, ang BPO industry natin, ang itinaas na pera sa ating ekonomiya, $90 million. Last year, $32.5 billion na yan. So I'm not even talking about just simply the big BPOs. Alam nyo, meron tinatawag na pocket BPOs ngayon. In fact, even single individual players are into this service ballgame. So that is going to be big. Companies that can harness this type of capability within their businesses will definitely do well in the future. Number 6, and last but not least, is real estate. Alam nyo, this whole trend about high inflation, spiraling inflation, increasing interest rates, akala natin, babagsak ang real estate. Many people would have missed, hey, to produce real estate, you need factors of production like labor, cement, steel, glass. Dahil sa inflation, nagtaasan lahat yan eh. So can you make the same building at the same price? Of course not. And the other issue about real estate, kahit ano pong mangyari, limited resource yan. Kung gusto mo ng lupa sa Makati, pakunti ng pakunti ang available. Kung gusto mong tumira in the plush villages of our best subdivisions, pataas ng pataas po yan because people who are earning a little more are trying to jockey against each other to get the primes of the prime properties in this country. So umaakyat po yan. Ang example ko nga po, baka maraming hindi nakakaalam. Itong mga subdivisions natin, for example, alam nyo ba na ang Ayala Alabang, nung inintroduce yan at nilaunch yan, less than 200 pesos yan way back in the 70s, 200 pesos per square meter. Ngayon po, 200,000 per square meter. Can you imagine that? Forbes Park, less than 100 pesos po yan nung nilaunch nung mga late 60s. Ngayon po, magkano? 600 to 700,000 pesos. Real estate is one of the most important assets to invest in. You can enjoy it, you can earn capital appreciation, cash flows in terms of rentals and lease payments. Tapos syempre, naipapasa mo pa to the next generation. It is an anchor of generational wealth. So in the future, you're going to be seeing real estate developments in pockets or CBDs or growth centers all around the country. Bakit po? Dahil medyo sikip na yung metropolis eh. Talagang kailangang maging robust na ang developments in other major cities of this country. And quite frankly, that has to happen. And I'm really so happy seeing it happen. Tapos tahiin nyo pa yung sinasabing infrastructure with the technology and the connection. Can you just imagine how the economic growth of our country will be? These trends will push investment profitability. Hanapin po natin kung anong mga kumpanya ang namamayagpag at nangunguna sa mga trends na ito. It will be the game changers that will control the future. Again, it is incumbent upon us to look for where the opportunities are. But as far as Ramper Financials would be concerned, we'd like to let you know what we have. We'd like to share with you the data and information as we get it from our fund managers and partners within the breadth of this entire industry. Ang aming pong objective ay makatulong sa inyo dito sa inyong investment journey so that you can fulfill your dreams and not just your own, but those of your loved ones as well. Again, ito pong muli si Rex Mendoza. Hopefully, natulungan kayo ng video ito. Ma-share natin sana sa ating mga kaibigan at kamag-anak At para dun sa mga hindi pa subscribe, please do subscribe and make us an integral part of your education and learning within your financial journey. Blessings always.